Oh, hello everyone online. Hope you're well. You've probably read that line where Luangpor is asked, "How old are you?" Luangpor says, "I have no age. To think you're born is already a problem." I mean, apparently he didn't say those kinds of Zen statements very often, but from the Nibbana Sutta, it makes sense. I think I am someone who was born and I will die. That self-view is biologically true, but there's something deeper than birth and death. Again, being a monk, I love those kinds of lines. But living with Luangpor, you rarely got that. You mostly got Ploy Wang or Wat Ton or Chile Penyang Ni, those kinds of good basic teachings. But anyway, getting back to yesterday, whenever I offer some advice, I'm never sure if I'm right, but I'm not a doubter. I just know I just do my best, but I'm not even doubting all the time. But I do kind of consider this. So last night, as I was speaking to the question on blankness, I was suggesting the who practice, who feels blankness. And I found myself being somewhat hesitant in talking about that. And I was like, why am I so hesitant about this? When you're teaching, you're also looking at yourself, aren't you? So it's a venerable methodology, and it is a methodology. It's not an absolute truth. It's not a philosophical thing. But where I think I was hesitant was around the idea of head space and heart space. So heart space for me is the place of relaxed wisdom. So for instance, and headspace is the place of analysis and discern and seeing differences and criticism. Both are necessary. So let's say if we were driving from Tamaram to here, or to here, yeah. And so then I would see a quotation for the price of a condo. And the price is, I don't know, 1 million baht, something like that. And then I see 1 million baht. Oh, no, that's baht. That's not dollars. So then my mind starts to, what is it? Canadian is 40. Or is it 50? Terrible. Oh, okay. No, it's 50 into a million, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm thinking, I'm in headspace. Then we tootle along a bit, and there on Sukhumvit, there's an elderly lady who is trying to negotiate. She's walking in front of the shops and she's trying to negotiate street. She's really old and it looks like she's had a stroke, and she's on her own and she's on a stick. I said, well, that's not good. And then I don't really comment on it. I said, oh, that must be difficult. To me, that's the heart space, the space of of compassion, love, and connection. So when going back to who, that question, if it would leave me in the headspace where it's in a kind of analytical, what does he mean? Who am I? Then that wouldn't be useful for me. It would be useful in terms, it's a very good method for breaking up thinking patterns because it cuts into them in a way that doesn't produce more thinking, not necessarily. So I'm obsessing about some problem at home. Who's thinking? So it kind of chops into it. But then I think one of the great challenges of Theravada Buddhism, it can be very intellectual. I think the Thai people obviously have much more devotion, much more heart. For Farangs, it's very, very heady. And it's been interpreted from a very heady place. But when I speak with Venerable Amrasiri, how he sees the Pali, he sees much more heart in it. Now, I don't understand Pali and Sanskrit on a few words. He is fluent in Sanskrit. He's got a kind of PhD equivalent of Sanskrit. And Sanskrit is really the same as Pali in terms of reading. So it's interesting just when we talk about the language of translation, how somehow he thinks the Western translations often don't kind of get the heart devotional aspect. Thai society seems to me might have a lot of heart. It has a lot of kind of heart in it. So there's that cultural piece. But for me, just that simple exercise of going from the head space to the heart space is a very relaxing way to be aware of the way things are. So when I say welcoming awareness, open-hearted awareness, that's what I'm referring to. The who, if it breaks into the thinking patterns, which that's its sort of method, and then takes me to the heart, then it's a perfect combination. It's a very good combination. But just in general, seeing that metta isn't an intellectual exercise of lists, that it's the natural abiding that we can be with or abide as loving kindness, which is felt here. So anytime that registers for you, it might be with your parents, it might be with Bruno, it might be with doesn't really matter, does it? So as I was saying early on in the treat, I used pictures just to kind of get a sense. So this is the heart space. Okay, you just rest there. And then as I remember to do that, then I see how the mind's going into the headspace of commentary and judgment. I say, is that really necessary now? Yeah, sometimes it is, sure. I have to, we have a structural problem in the running of the monastery. Then yeah, let's head stuff. Okay, what can we do? How can we solve this problem? Fine. But there is a kind of bias to the headspace in an intellect, I think in cultures where there's tertiary education, where everyone has a degree and we use computers. I don't have a degree. I'm the only one here, I think. Where we use computers, we use analysis, we use thought, we use discernment, we compare, we judge, even like in the whatever social media you use, you have thumbs up or thumbs down. That's criticism. And that's like, I don't like it, I like it. So kids right from the beginning are learning how to just take positions. Ditty, no good, good, or which is which way it works. So that I think in urban cultures, I think that's why I can relate more to people in Bangkok than I do to the rice farmers in Isan, because in many ways we are, although Thai culture is different than Canadian culture, urban culture has a lot of similarities. Internet culture, analysis culture, judgment culture. So we're conditioned in similar ways that way. So as an exercise, just to kind of do that, just to see that the attention is involved in the headspace and come down to the heart space. That's a very simple redirection of attitude. So sometimes it's quite deliberate, like I was saying in the meditations on the body. If you were to use the who is thinking model and it tightened your head up, it tightened your eyes up, your forehead, that means you would be trying to find something. And I would say that would be unskillful. Even though I suggest don't try to find anything, just use it to break up thought. Inadvertently, because of our tendency to try to get something or get rid of something, there's a kind of tightening of the eyes and the temples. So a meditation that makes you more conscious of that. So those meditations I did on the making conscious the face, making conscious the eyes. And again, notice how I use that language. You allow things to come up into consciousness rather than trying to focus on the eyes, which will make you more tight. So it's like an opening, a relaxing in it, but that kind of localization. The head is in awareness, the kind of language I'm using. And then you feel the tightness around the eyes. And then if you become conversant with that, familiar with that on a kind of daily basis, really, you're more aware of the body, more body awareness. Then if you're trying to do something, it's very goal oriented, you feel a lot of pressure. So in meditation, then a goal oriented practice will be involved with bhava or vibhava. So it's not so much a goal oriented practice, it's an awakening practice, present moment awareness. So if I were to try like who is thinking, if that then in the next, like let's say I decide, okay, I'm going to do the who am I for a whole walking meditation. I'll just see how that works every time a doubt comes up or plans or worries. I'll just say, who's thinking? Yeah, and if I just observed and observed that actually my head's getting tighter, then I know, no, I'm trying too hard. You need to relax. You're trying too hard. Um, but if I, I tend to just use the heart, rather I don't use the who. I used to use the who am I. So I was just kind of reviewing how to use that. How to use a chisel. I forgot I haven't used a chisel for a while. And so in my review, which I hope you'll give a thumbs up, um, and make sure you subscribe down here. We're all conditioned this way, but uh, I found it helpful. It was the heart. So the who breaks up the thinking, but then come down here, abide as in the heart space. You can use language, you can use pictures, but there is a difference, isn't there? So I see the little old lady, and I after taking care of my mom for those years, I was so aware of old people. They're all around. Not that I wasn't aware of them before, but now I understood old people because I'd lived with an old person for so many years. I understood their vulnerability. So when I'd see an old person trying to cross the street at a traffic light, I realized, wow, they've got to get across in 15 seconds. That is frightening. I could really understand them because I understood how difficult it was for my mother. So that's empathy, right? So when I see an old person, oh, yeah, it's tough. So that's the heart space. And then how much is 1,000,000 baht in Canadian dollars? Is the head space. And both are necessary. But as I say, I think that definitely the bias is going to be towards thinking. Has to be because you spend how many hours a day analyzing stuff, problem solving and seeing, comparing things and so on. So learning how to be with the heart space is very important and very beautiful. And I do feel that's where non-desire sits, if one can speak in that way. Because non-desire and desire are just concepts. Is there a and desire is a felt feeling. I want to get something or I want to get rid of something. And non-desire is a felt feeling. Feel it. You feel it in your body because you're not tense with desire. And I think a good way to remember non-desire is compassion. Compassion is not wanting to fix the world's problems. That's that's a different thing. That's action. But compassion is just feeling for this. It's like Kuan Yin. Kuan Yin, the great bodhisattva. How do you say it in Thai? Kuan Yin. You know what I mean? The lady. That one. And what's that about? That's about you're okay. I'll take care of you. So you could say Uru or Mamaru, the mother of knowing. If this, I just thought of this now. Mamaru, that's not bad. Don't tell the Kuba Ajahns about this. Don't tell Ajahn Pasan, I'll be in trouble. But what I'm getting across is a sense of like your mother cares for her kids, and our kids are our emotions, our bodily feelings, the stupidity that comes up in our minds, the negative, the positive. Um, One yin says to all of them, I accept your suffering. I cry for the suffering of all beings. May you be well and happy. So next year's retreat will be titled Mama Ru. No one will come. All right, let's do some meditation. Where did that come from? Welcoming awareness, then. Welcome whatever experiences are manifesting now. Welcome the sounds. Welcome the bodily feelings. So awareness is spacious. It allows all things, it rejects none. So when we say it's like this now, or puru, it's an acceptance, an allowing, a kind of heartfelt. So go from the head, go down into the heart, into the chest area. See if you can allow your attention just to sort of notice that, be with that, sit as that. And then if you want, on the in-breath, imagine someone you love. On the out-breath, may you be well. Stimulate that area. Just in a really simple, suggestive way. And then when that seems like it's sort of settled, you can let go of the thinking and just abide as knowing the way things are from the heart.